And the situation with the fans, because many people, like judging from outside, said you're gonna lose the changing room now.
It was like in a movie, you know, like you don't even think about those things. Everything took like 10, 20 seconds, right, all over. You know, like when there's a car accident, the car accident takes like 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and okay, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that, but you don't have a time to actually think about it, you just follow the flow.
Why Romeo?
Why such a name? That's a good question. Obviously my mom, that passed away quite a few years back. She was the one, she told me that when she was working. Before she was a mathematics and physics teacher, and then one day her and my dad were having a dinner, and then she came up with the name, and that's how she got it. We have Italy close by, bordering Italy close by, and we had always a strong influence of Italy. And quite a few names from Dalmatia and when this part of Croatia where I'm from is being Italian. But obviously unusual name. I always had a bit of a joke when I said Romeo. People didn't believe, really? Like, you joking? I'm not joking, I'm serious on that, so.
How do you say honeymoon in Croatian?
Medeni mjesec.
You haven't got any in Legii, yes?
Oh, here? No. It was a bit of a hurricane that I was dropped in, big games, and with all the psychology and with all the, let's say, pressure and with all the instability, it was tough. But I think we're on the, I wouldn't say we're out of it completely, but I think we're on a good way to bring the stability on the long run. You know, there's this saying that always stays in my head. And it goes, I've never seen a great man with an easy past. I'm not going to say that I'm, don't get me wrong, great in any way. I'm just saying all the big things that you want to achieve in your life, they deserve a sacrifice, they deserve a struggle. As I said it a couple of times, and I'm going to repeat it today one more time, the Monday after the Lech game was the toughest day in my sporting career. I did have, unfortunately, few even tougher ones on a private level. But in my sporting career, that was the toughest day of my life, and I'm thinking to myself, why or how? Or
more the visit that the fans paid and threatened the players, or the result?
The result. Obviously, the whole situation affected it. The reason why I didn't say the Sunday was the worst day, because it was full of adrenaline, full of action, full of motion. Didn't even have time to think about those things. It just went fast, like in a movie, right? But then when you wake up and then you actually wake up, open your eyes, and then you see, okay, this hasn't been a dream. It was a real day yesterday. Then you didn't want to wake up, and I obviously, for 1 second, I was thinking to myself, oh, really? I have to wake up today and move on. But then, as I am, not being a quitter, just kept on going, and this is how it was.
And there were no remorse, like maybe I should have stand up for the players, or?
It's you know, it's always a debate, like which way to put it, which way to do it. Everything we say, everything I say, I discuss to them as well in the locker room. I told them the first day I was over there, listen, I'm going to be the best guy you're going to have here, and going to do really all my best to help. But I'm going to be the worst guy as well, if needed, right? And I think they respect it. I think so far we have a good relationship. I've spoken to every single one of them on a personal basis a lot. And they showed the seriousness, they showed the professionalism, unbelievable professionalism. After the 2 weeks we've had after the Lech game, it was tough 2 psychological weeks, even emotionally, obviously, physically too. It drained us a lot the first week. We were actually pulling things together. But they came back really strong, and I give them the credit for that. They're really something to admire about.
And the situation with the fans, because many people, like judging from outside, said you're gonna lose the changing room now. Like the fans told you, it has nothing to do with you. We are going to.
But you know what? It was, as I said, it was like in a movie. You know, like you don't even think about those things. Everything took like 10, 20 seconds, right, all over, and you don't even get together, and the thing has been already pretty much over. So. You can always recall back, you know, like when there's a car accident, the car accident takes like 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and okay, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that, But you don't have a time to actually think about it. You just follow the flow. And when people say you might potentially, yes, that might be true. But you know what? Even if you are being hard on someone, you're being sincere, right? You're being sincere, you're being honest. And then the people respect honesty, because if we're gonna fool ourselves, if we're gonna just, yeah, everything is fine, everything is good, this is not good. This is not sincerity in a marriage. It's always like that. Not everything is good all the time. You got to bring issues up and deal with it, not put it under the carpet.
With Dominik Notch, it was you that took a decision and communicated it to...
Yeah, of course. He's a talent player, but definition of talent is really complex. It's not always about football skills. Many times not about football skills. I've seen that some players, I don't even know want to go with the names, amazing football skills, but it's just the mindset wasn't there. And I'm not going to say Notch doesn't have it. He does have it when he wants to have it. Now the matter is, we here in the locker room, we don't have time. We got to all go as one. And we need every piece of good, positive energy from every player. And if I see somebody is missing it, he's not going to be in the locker room. As soon as he picks up this positive energy and energy for not only for himself, but for the Legia, for the team, he's going to be back on the team right away.
You said in one of the recent interviews that there are going to be some cuts in the winter.
This is not threatening in any way. It is just a normal way of making a job, trying to make a team as good as possible. Right now, it's a bit too early to go with concrete, obviously, names, but we are going to try to strengthen the team on some major delicate positions we have. If we're going to find better players for these positions, obviously the worse players or the less good players are going to obviously have to look for the different options. Everybody needs a better player. Barcelona needs a better player. If we want to play, and I do want to play with Legia Champions League as soon as possible in the future, we're going to obviously have to strengthen the team as much as possible.
Have you already told your players how you thrown Luka Modric out of a changing room someday?
No. It was just one moment when I was a young coach and he was obviously a younger player. He had always these issues with his hair, right? Issues, the fact, long hair, always like before each pass he was going like this, like this, like this. It was the Dinamo Zagreb second team. I was a bit fed up, let's say, put it this way, with his hair. Pass, and I said, Luka, listen, tomorrow don't come to the practice if you don't cut your hair. I don't want to see you like that anymore. And he was something like, he didn't say something directly back. But then yesterday, the day after, we had a meeting, and I see him sitting over there, completely forget about it, right? Because it was a meeting, and all of a sudden I spot him over there on the side with his hair the same as it was. And I'm saying, listen, dude, we say you don't come to practice if you don't cut your hair? He said, Coach, the hairdressers didn't work today, so I couldn't do it. And I'm not gonna say right now what I said to him. Let's put it in polite words. He had to leave the locker room, and he was back in, I would say, an hour and something with his haircut. And we joked.
So hairdressers worked?
Oh, it did work eventually.
Okay.
They actually opened up right away. And then when we saw each other a few years after this in the national team gathering, and then he came to me and we joked back and forth saying, Coach, you and the army were the only ones cutting my hair. That was one of those moments when you got to show, even though he was an excellent guy, it was really a privilege to work with him. I was his coach for a year and a half. A privilege to work with these, not only him, but a lot of talented players. And that's why I see Dominik with the potential similar as those guys had. I wouldn't like to see him disappearing because he has great potential, right? But the potential is not going to mean anything. And this age group, Luka is born 1985, age group 85 and 86, I was working with 19 national team players, U21 and U20, U19, U18, U17. 19 national team players. Out of those 19 national team players, only 2 of them made a big career. 17 of them didn't make a career, and they were all equally talented.
It was
some of them.
Luka and who?
Chorluka. And Chorluka. Kranjčar wasn't in this generation. Kranjčar is 1984. Some of them didn't make a career at all. Few of them bit of a tiny career, but they were having amazing talent. And that's why when I talk to Dominik, listen, don't waste your talent. Use it in a good way. Use it in a positive way. Use it in an aggressive way. So you're not going to be one of those in 10 years. Listen, there was one talented guy that didn't make a career because why? He didn't want anything. With Luka, he was the one really having this mentality, this bull terrier mentality every single day on a practice.
But he grew back hair.
Yeah. Immediately, as soon as he left, he grew the hair back.
Luka was, I think, refused in Split, yes? They told him he's too fragile to succeed.
Yeah.
He was a war refugee. Do you think, like, you need to, sometimes you need certain background or you need to get this push?
I think there's no rule to that. There's obviously some principles based on the experience of the people that have done that before. Luka's situation was obviously very stressful because he was a refugee. He came to Zagreb when he was in a younger age. He was under a lot of influence of the Dinamo Academy. And he was influenced in a positive way. I think the structure of the academy was done very well at that time. He was in a second team, like imagine Legii, a second team right now. Having the 19 players, they're all U21, U20, U19, U18 or 17 national team of Poland. So combination of really, really talented players, right? The best in the country, right?
You know that in second team of Legia 11 years ago, Robert Lewandowski has heard that he's too injury prone and he needs to find another club.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you know what? I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've heard this story, but you don't know what were the circumstances, who did it, why did it do it, I don't know. Obviously, now when you go back and look at that, say, yes, that was a big mistake. As it was a big mistake that Hajduk didn't take Luka at that time. But I can say, if you were on the pitch those days with me, you would have seen 19 equally talented players. Some of them were even stepping up over Luka in some elements, right? So you can just, okay, no, this guy is going to make it and these guys won't.
You are co-author of the, let's say, a Bible of Croatian coaching, and how can you make sure that you've done everything what was possible to not lose any Lukas or Roberts?
For example, we had WRZUCONY. WRZUCONY is the right fullback from Dinamo, right? When he was playing the right fullback in Dinamo youth age categories, we had a left fullback. They were like a twin brothers, one to each other. Same coaches, same principles, same drills, same education, national team players. WRZUCONY made it as a big guy, Atletico Madrid, and the other one didn't make it. And they were equally, from our point of view, talents. Right? Excellent guy, same contracts, similar contracts. National team, they both go. Step up to the first team, they both go. Everything, they both go. Tip, he made it, the other guy didn't make it. So, did we do something wrong? No, because WRZUCONY made it. Could have we done something better? Yes, because this guy didn't make it. But if we had done something different, maybe he wouldn't have done it. So there's obviously something within the initial talent that is not a football talent and skill talent only. There's a bit of a thing from the inside and from the here as well, for them to make it. And but the bottom line is you got to make everything, so you're going to be, as I say, at the end of the day, as an academy director or as a club president or as a coach, you got to be aware that you made everything possible. Whether is that going to be sometimes enough to make the objective step up in the players, that's not up to you sometimes, right?
Is it easier to work in Poland than in Croatia? I
would say so far, what the treatment I have here, it is like a space shuttle. Right? It is like a space shuttle in every possible way. From you guys, from the media, from the organization, from the professionalism, even the fans, even the situation with the fans is something what is experience of a lifetime for me as well, and I'm gonna always remember that in the positive memory. You know, it's always hardest to be the prophet in your own backyard, and obviously for me as a Croatian, as a non-big football player name, I was playing football on a solid level. I was never a national team player. So obviously people always want to see the big names, but then you make a big name eventually, maybe, right? I'm focused only on football here, and it's easier for me, obviously. Back home, there's millions of things you got to worry about. Here, I'm doing my job highly and strictly professionally with a lot of emotions, but with a lot of positive and I would say objective emotions, right?
Because Dinamo, where you spent like the most important part of your life. This is a two-faced club, yes. One is the like success story of producing the players, but it's also the club where fans were against the owners, also against you as a guy of the owners, where PAMIĆTAJ clan has some legal problems now, even involving Luka Modric.
But yeah, with all this said, it's easier here, right? Because you don't have to deal with all these things that are non-football related. There were days or weeks we haven't spoken about football at all. We just spoke about all those things around. Even though it's lovely, as I said, you have talented players, and me as a Croatian, obviously, which you put your hand on a heart, especially working in a national team and in Dinamo as well as the biggest club in Croatia. It was something obviously I will never forget. That was a school. That was my life school, professional school, but life school as well.
Are you a PAMIĆTAJ guy or no?
I was his right hand in the football area, or one of the right hands. That's a tough question. No, I'm Romeo, right? You said it yourself from the very beginning. He did tell me that a couple of years ago, that after him, he see only me taking over and continuing, running the show, let's say, in Croatian football. But life is unpredictable, right? We spoke last night after the game. He called me, he congratulated me.
He's now an advisor to...
He's advisor in Dinamo, and then he told me, listen, you know, when I watch Dinamo, I'm shaking because I wanted them to win. I watch national team, I'm shaking, I want him to win. I watch Zoki is his brother, the head coach in Emirates. I'm watching Zoki, and Zoki, I'm shaking because of him. Do you have to shake about you now as well because you're winning 1-0? So I'm shaking, so he was really positive about it. And he shook a hand and he congratulated as well. A passionate guy, unbelievable passion, unbelievable energy, unbelievable aggressiveness in performing duties. We worked together for almost 15-20 years, right? And we shared the room and the office and the knowledge, as experiences. Obviously, I don't know much about those other things, legal issues around. It's unpleasant, I must say it's unpleasant. I hope he's going to get out of it.
Some people called him like a mafia guy, and also national team supporters, I think, staged a protest. The clashes at Euro 2016 had a background of like fans being against federation.
You read things in the media and then, okay, what is your comment on this? There's no end to it, right? We can have comments on the comments, on and on and on. All I'm trying to say, he was sweating his energy off the last 34 years to make Dinamo look like they look today. And obviously, everybody makes mistakes in life. I made him.
He saw you as a successor of his work, but his empire crushed a little bit, yes, in recent years.
Yeah, you can call it that way. You can say it that way because there's obviously some other clubs competing.
Rijeka is a champion.
Rijeka is picking up. Osijek is picking up greatly as well. Hajduk is always a Hajduk, which is good for Croatian football. Nothing takes forever, you know. Like there's been big emperors in the world, you know, like even bigger, much bigger. Everything comes to the end of everything.
But this also played some role in your decision that you hit the ceiling in Croatia, and now it's time to probably move abroad?
Yeah. This is the simplest answer I can say. Yes, I came to the stage where I literally hit the ceiling up on top, and I saw there's no, for me at this stage, no other place to go, to do, and I did live in a couple of countries. I do speak a couple of languages. I have a lot of friends, a lot of contacts, still work in UEFA. And I said to myself, it's time for you to go. Come back one day, we'll see when. But whether I'm going to stay in Poland one more day or 10 more years, I'm going to give my best.
When are you starting speaking Polish?
I do know a few words, but I'll tell you honestly, it was in his professional career really stressful, obviously, but also really intense period of my life, and I was focusing only on the team right now. I'm not going to say as soon as we get into the safe area, we're in the safe area, obviously, right? To pick him up, actually, to put the team in a stable zone, I'm gonna start with the Polish. I think I do have a bit of a talent for languages. I picked up quite fast the German and Spanish and all those around as well. I think Polish is quite similar to Croatian. I understand when you guys talk a lot. So I think
there is, you know, the false friends, as they call it in.
Yeah.
There is one false friend in Croatian. Frajeri means something completely different than.
Frajeri means in Croatian like a big shot. Yeah.
And here is the loser. So
losers.
That probably makes a difference between Legia winning the championship and not.
Yeah, there you go. My goal is obviously to win the championship, because I said to myself I would definitely give every single tiny bit of myself for us to play Champions League next year here.